Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today my topic for this video is the unit testing. So unit testing basically a approach to test each function, method or logic on the unit level. So in software industry, while we are developing a course, while we are developing a product, we need to write the codes, like we need to write the functions, need to write the methods, we need to write the classes, modules, packages for designs. So we need to ensure like the each class, each functions is working as per the logic. So to test each functions on the unit level approach. So in Python, we have the unit test frameworks to test each function on the unit level. And if we compare Python with Java, so unit test basically similar to the JUnit in Java. JUnit also support the unit level testing in Java language. Similarly, in Python language, we have the unit test. And for more details, you can refer to Python official websites also. And this one, the page for the unit test framework, unit test in the Python websites. So you can refer to this website also. There is the nice informations. If you want, you can go through here also. And most of the details in this tutorial I use from this Python official website. Further, we can automate this task with unit test. And basically, we set up the test cases, test under the test cases, and then we create the test suites for the similar functionality, and then we run those test suites. And next, I move to the unit test terminologies. So first one is the text fixture. So text fixture basically the prerequisite stuff, like the preparation is needed to run a test. For example, the test data creations, any kind of temporary locations need to create before run the test, any kind of cleanup, any kind of proxy data sets or any kind of directories we need to create. So those all stuffs like all test data creations, all prerequisite data creation is under the text fixture. And next is the test case. A test case basically is separate unit of testing. It checks the response as per the input. Basically, in one test case, we are checking the response of our functions for one particular input. And unit test provide the base classes of test case to create the test case. We need to create a class by inheriting the test case class from the unit test module. Next is the test suite. So test suite basically a collection of test cases, and we can basically make a test suites from the similar test cases or like the P1 priority test cases or the test cases related to similar features, similar modules, and then we execute those test case together. For example, like the if our functions is dependent functions, like the first function is generating some data, then next function is using those data, basically the data driven approach. Then we use the test suites to make the collection of those tests, and then we run those tests in the sequence manner, like the first function is executed, then the output is passed to second function. So this way we use the test suites. Next one is the test runner. A test runner basically a component to run the test. So up to here we create the text fixture, we create the test cases, then test suites. So then we need a test runner to run those tests. And basically test runner provide us the multiple options to see the output. We can see output in the GUI, we can see output in the consoles also, and also in the text file also. And next I move to the possible outcomes in case of unit test. So there is a three type of outputs is possible if we run a test case by using the unit test module. So first one is the OK, like all tests are passed. And second one is the failed. Failed, suppose we put a assertion in our test case and assertion is failed, then the status would be failed. And third one is the error. So error basically the some kind of syntax errors or like the error other than our assertions, like our method is, our function is failed, execution is failed, but not due to the assertions, due to some syntax error or due to some other exception. So those status, in those situations, status would be error. And next important part of the unit testing is assertion. So like when we create a test case, when we create a test suites, to make sure like all the outputs or our function is working as per designs, we need to put the assertions. So here are the assertions supported by the unit test. First one is the assert equal. So in assert equal, we need to pass three arguments here who are required. So first one is the first, second, and then the message. So it's basically compare the first argument value with second argument. Like both the value would be same. If this value is match, this value is same, equal, then it pass, otherwise it's fail. And message is the optional. If we provide the message, then those message, in case of fail situation, those message basically print. And next one is assert not equal. This is opposite to equal. It basically check like the first or second argument value is not equal. And in case of like if the value is equal, then this fail. If value is not equal, then it pass. Other than is same. Other parameters are same. Message parameter is same. Then we have the true. True basically checking the expression and then returning the value if this expression has the true. We basically use this assertion to make sure our expression value is true. And opposite to true, we have the assert false. And here also we need to pass the expression. Then we can pass the message also to make sure our expression value would be false. Like our expression, our condition would be false. So there are the multiple assertions. You can see here, there are the number of assertions. So due to time constraints, I'm skipping these things, but here, like the most of the time we use these general assertions like equal to, not equal to, false. And also we can use the assertions to raise the exceptions, or there is the multiple options we can raise the exception. And let me show you the coding part first. So here first I'm importing the unit test module here. You can see here import unit test. Then I'm creating a test case here. And to create a test case in unit test, we need to create a class. So as I explained in the class videos, how we create the class. So this is the class keyword. This is the class name. And here I'm inherit the subclass from the unit test module. You can see here unit test dot test case. So here basically I'm inherit the test case class. So this class would be the test case because I'm inherit here. I'm creating this class from the inherit of unit test class. And under this class, I'm creating a methods test underscore upper. And then I'm putting a assertion. And this assertion basically checking if this first value and then the second value is equal or not. In case of equal, then our function is passed. Otherwise, our function would be fail, like the assertion would be fail. This is the syntax to run our unit test. So we need to define we need to call the main function here. And here in the unit test dot main, I'm passing the two argument here. So these two argument basically specific to this Jupyter notebook. If I run this code through the Jupyter notebook, in case of CMD, then we can skip this. Then we don't need to pass these argument. This argument basically ignore the system argument of the Jupyter levels. I will show you in the CMD also how we run this same test in the CMD. So let me run this. So you can see here, like the test case is executed and status is okay. It basically execute this test and then check the string values under this function. So you can see here, first thing is optimal XAI. Then we convert this string into the uppercase by using the dot upper function, and then it compare with the optimal XCI in uppercase. So both the string in uppercase, that's why this particular test is pass. And here are the details regarding this particular test. So first things is the test case. So first we create a test case here, as I explained earlier also, like that this is the test result is the name of this test case. And we create this test case by inherit the unit test case subclass. And further we need to define the test cases test under these test cases. First one is the class is the test case, then method are the test. And to define the test, we need to use the special naming conventions, like the name of the method is start with the test. This is the test. You can see here this function name is start with the test. So this is the naming conventions for the unit test. So basically this naming convention inform the test runner. Okay, this is the test. We need to run this test. So in the description of the test, you can see here first things description is related to this test. So in this particular test, I'm converting those string into the uppercase, then checking the string is successfully converted into the uppercase or not. and then unittest.main. So this basically unittest main basically provide the capability to run this test through the CMD command line interface. And here in this particular case, I'm passing these two argument. So same thing mentioned here. These two argument basically used to run this code through the Jupyter notebook and the Google Colab. So here I'm running this into the Colab. So that's why I'm using this. In case of Jupyter notebook, then also you need to run pass these two argument. But in case of CMD, you can skip these argument. And here the like the more information mentioned regarding this argument. So you can see here the reason is to pass the argument in this unit test main looks the system argument, and the first parameter what started with the Jupyter notebook. So basically to run this code on the Jupyter notebook, we need to ignore this first argument. So that's why we pass this argument here. So let me move to the second test case. So in the second test case, I'm again creating the test cases similar to above one. So by inheriting the test case class from the unit test module. So in this particular test case, I add a one test. This is the test I added under this test case. And same syntax, like the similar to the function creation, I'm creating these functions by def keywords. Then this is the function name, and these are the parameters. So I'm not passing any parameter, that's why self only. And then this is the assertion. And in the assertion, you can see here, it's basically checking like both the string is equal, both the values first and second value are equal. But here in the first value, you can see here Devrat in small letter, DEVRAT, all are small. But in second argument, Devrat D is caps. So if we compare these, so this is not equal, and in this situation, this test would be fail. And same way I run this test, and you can see here, test is failed. So let me run this test again. So you can see here I run this test, and now this test is failed. Status is failed, and failure is 1. You can see here, and assertion error. You can see here, this is our first argument, this is the second argument, and this argument are not matched. And you can see here also, like it's marked like that. This is the capital small d, this is the capital D. That's why it's not match. So this is the example of failed test case by assertion. And in the previous example, we see how the all things are green. And in this second example, I discuss the failed example. Next, I move to the test suites. So up to here, we create the test case, we add the test under the test cases. Now I'm going to discuss the test suite. So like the test case related to the P1 functionalities or P0 functionalities, or test case related to particular feature, we can add those test case into one modules or one test suite. Test suite basically the collection. In the collection, we can add multiple test cases. Similarly, in test suite, we can add multiple test cases. So here again, I'm importing the unit test, then creating a test by inherit the test subclass from the unit test module. And this is the same syntax as I above use. This is the same way I'm creating the different test. This is the setup. This is basically the prerequisite to run these tests. So in this function setup, I'm taking the input from the users on the runtime. Self.input equal to int input. So by using this function input function, I'm taking the input, and then I'm passing those input to next functions in the test default input. And here I'm using the assertions to check the input value is equal to 100 or not. Then I have the another function to update the input value. So here I'm update the input value by adding the 50. And then again, I have the assertion to check the input value is equal to 150 or not. And in the end, I'm deleting those input. You can see here, those input is delete in the end. So this is the one way of data-driven approach. To move further, I use the test suites. So here I'm again creating a functions. You can function name is suite. So under this suite function, first I'm creating a suite object from the test suite class from unit test module. So you can see here, this is the unit test module dot test suite. This is the class. And here I'm creating the object by using this class. And now I'm adding the test here. This is the input test case. These are the test case. And these are the test under this test case. these are the tests under this particular test case. So here I'm adding two test cases. First one is the test default input. First test case is this, and second test is test input update, this one. And the main method is used to run this test suite. Syntax will be same here. First, I am defining a object for the runners, import from the unit test, and then I'm running those object, those basically runner object. And on the runtime is taking the input. So let me run this first. So it's basically defining this class and test all things, test cases. So this basically defining this test case and this test all things. And let me call these test cases under this test suite. So it basically asking for the input. So here I'm passing the 100 first. And for the second test case also is asking for the input. And you can see here, it's run two tests as I add the two tests here, and all the tests are passed. So status is, all the tests are passed, status is okay. So this way we can add any number of test cases in test suite. So this is the two example of test suite. And next one is the skipping of the test cases and expected failure. In the industry, while we working on the software development, so due to the time constraint, resources constraint, it happen like the some feature is not ready, some method is not working, or there is like the known bug in some functions or some methods. Then we can skip those tests in those situations to avoid the unnecessary failure in our final report. We can skip those test cases. We can skip by using the skip decorator from the unit test framework. So same thing mentioned here, unit test support the skipping of the test cases, and we can skip the one test case and also the whole class of test cases, like the one function and also the whole class in one go. And these are the decorators for skipping the test case. First one is the unit test dot skip. So this basically used to skip a test case, and we can add the reasons why we skip this test case. Reason basically the message in string format. We can add the reason, and this basically skip the test case. Further, we can skip the test case with if condition also. If this condition is true, then their test case is skip. And also we can add the region. Here are the condition, then the reason. And third option is the skip unless this condition is not matched. Once this condition is matched, then this particular test case is run. Otherwise, this test case in the skip mode. This is the syntax, like the unit test dot skip unless, then the condition, and then the reason. I will show you the error code example also. And to mark the expected failure also, we can use the unit test dot expected failures. And let me show you in the code part. So here I'm importing the unit test library and then creating a test, my test case, and by inherit the unit test dot test case class from unit test module. And here I'm passing two input 1, input 2, both the value is 2. Let me move to the first test here. This is the first test, and this is very basic test nothing, and just passing just passed statement under this, so nothing happened here. And here this is the decorator, @ unit dot skip, and this is the message. For this demo, I'm skipping this test case. That's why message is demonstrating skipping. So you can see here, this way we skip this test case. Next one is that to skip test case with if condition. It basically check if input is less than 3, then it skip the test case. So you can see here, our input 1 is 2, is this condition is matched. So this way it skip the test case. And next example is skip unless this condition is not true. So you can see here, once our condition, our input 2 is greater than 3, then this test case is execute. Otherwise, this test case on the skip mode. So our input in this particular case is 2. That's why it's going to skip. And further, we can add the a dependency. Suppose our function has the dependency to other modules, other functions, and those resources not available, then we can add the dependency to other functions, and then our test case is skip if those output is not ready, those function is not ready. So you can see here I'm defining one variable external resource, and value is none. And then I'm passing a if condition, not external resource, means external resource is not available, then self dot skip test. So this way also we can skip the test. And if I run this, you can see here it basically skipping. You can see here 4s for the test here, test 1, test 2, test 3, and all 4 are skip. You can see here skip test case status is 4. And let me change the values. Let me change this value. This condition value is 4, and this condition value also 4. Now this condition is false, so this test is also going to run, and this condition also true, so this test also going to run in this situation. Now I change the input, and you can see here now our test again run, and you can see here 2 tests are run, 2 tests are skipped, and in the skipped part also you can see here like our 2 test is skipped here. This is the way how we can skip the test cases. So here I basically show you how we run the test case through the Jupyter notebook, and we have another mechanism to run this test case through the CMDs. Let me show you the CMD example. So here, similar to these example, I create again a test. So you can see here, this is the test case. Here, this is the test case by inheriting the test case class from the unit test module. And these are the tests under this test case. And here I'm using the main without any parameter. So this way we can run this through the CMD. And let me open the CMD. So you can see here, this is the CMD. I basically go to this directory where this module is exist. I basically run this particular test in 3 ways. This test case in 3 ways. Either run the whole modules, or the test, or this test case, or the test levels, like one test one by one. So first, let me run on the modules. So you can see here, unit test file. This is the module name, unit test file. This is the module name as shown in the Visual Studio also, unit test underscore file py. And same way I'm running this Python minus sign m unit test minus sign v basically used for the verbose purpose, for the debugging purpose, and unit test underscore file. This is the module name. And if I run this, you can see here all 3 tests are run. The all 3 tests, test upper, test is upper, test split, all 3 tests are run. You can see here all 3 tests are run. And in this example, I run test on by using the module. Now I'm going to run these tests with the help of class. So under this module, we have the class test string method. You can see here, this is the class test string method. This is basically a test case, because I'm creating this class by inheriting the subclass from the unit test module subclass, basically the test case subclass. So this is basically the test case. So I'm going to run this particular test case. You can see here again the Python, the syntax is same, just I'm calling this class from the modules dot test string method. And if I run this, you can see here all the test under this particular class is run, all the test similar to above. And further, I can run single test also. Suppose I have the requirement to run a single test under this particular test case, so I can run the single test also. So you can see here, to here syntax is same. Now I call the particular test dot test upper, and you can see here now only one test is run. You can see here count is 1, and only single test is run. In case of module level, then 3 tests is run. In case of class level, 3 tests is run. In case of test level, or you can say the function level, only 1 test is run. So this is the way how we run the test case through the CMD also. So in this particular video, I cover the unit testing frameworks, like the main terminology of the unit testings, like the test case, test fixtures, and test suites, test runners, all things. And I show you the 2 examples, how we use the adjustions. Then I explain the adjustions also. And then I show you how we add those test cases into the test suites also. And then I also show you in this particular video how we run the test case through the Jupyter notebooks and through the CMD pipelines also. So that's all about the unit testings. And if you require this code, you can find this code from the description of the videos. Also, I will put the link of this colab in the description of the video. So thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe my channel. Thank you.